In the beginning, there was no separation, only light, only love, a vast ocean of consciousness, whole, radiant, infinite, dreaming itself into being. Dolores Cannon often described this state as the source, the origin of all creation, where every soul was once part of a single, boundless essence. There was no you or me, only the endless rhythm of divine harmony. But within that unity, a spark of curiosity arose, the desire to know itself. Love wished to experience its reflection, and so, from the stillness of eternity, movement began. The one looked within and, for the first time, saw duality. In that sacred act of recognition, the soul divided not in pain, but in purpose. From that divine splitting, twin flames were born. Two streams of the same consciousness, mirrors of the same light, each carrying the full memory of the whole. They were not created to be separate forever, but to explore the beauty of returning to rediscover love by finding it again through the illusion of distance. One soul, now two bodies, two currents flowing from the same eternal river. One carried the essence of the divine masculine, the energy of movement, structure, and creation. The other embodied the divine feminine, the energy of intuition, nurture, and being. They are not opposites, but complements. Together, they form the circle of wholeness, forever seeking balance. Dolores taught that this separation was an act of cosmic intention. Through duality, the soul could evolve. It could know compassion because it had seen suffering, know forgiveness because it had felt pain, and know love because it had once felt its absence. The twin flame journey, then, is not about finding another. It is about remembering that we were never truly divided. When the one became two, the purpose was not to create longing but awakening. Each half would journey through lifetimes, gathering experience, healing fragments, and expanding consciousness. They would learn to love beyond form, beyond ego, beyond fear. And through this long pilgrimage of existence, they would carry within them the ancient memory of unity, the pulse of that original light that still hums quietly beneath every heartbeat. Sometimes, the two halves meet again on earth. The recognition is instant, the eyes meet, and the soul trembles. It's not attraction, it's remembrance. It's the echo of the moment when creation first divided and said, "I will find you again." The birth of the flame was not a fall from grace. It was the beginning of the greatest journey ever conceived, the journey from oneness to separation, and from separation back to oneness. And perhaps that is the secret of all love stories. We are not searching for someone new, but for the reflection of the divine that has always lived within us. Every meeting, every embrace, every heartbeat is the soul's way of whispering, "Remember, we were one." In the infinite stillness of creation, unity was perfect, but perfection did not know itself. The source was everything and nothing at once, a sea of pure love without reflection. Dolores Cannon often said that consciousness divided because it desired to experience its own light, to feel what it meant to be loved by walking through the illusion of separation. And so, the great unfolding began. What was whole became many, and what was one became two. The cosmic separation was not a fall or a punishment, it was a sacred experiment. The soul chose to forget its unity so that it might rediscover it, again and again, through the beauty and chaos of human existence. When the one became two, each half carried a piece of the divine polarity, the yin and the yang, the solar and the lunar, the active and the receptive. This duality was not meant to divide, but to teach. Through contrast, consciousness could expand. The soul would learn light through darkness, courage through fear, compassion through pain, and love through longing. Dolores taught that Earth itself was designed as a school for this remembering. Souls descend into the density of matter, knowing they will forget who they are, knowing they will struggle, knowing they will feel alone, but also knowing that through that forgetting, they will rediscover something far greater: awakened love. Twin flames embody this principle at the deepest level. They are two aspects of one consciousness walking separate paths, gathering wisdom from opposite sides of experience. They are like the inhale and the exhale of the same divine breath, always reaching for balance, always seeking reunion. But that reunion can only happen when both halves have learned to love themselves as they once loved the whole. The cosmic separation is therefore not tragedy, but intention. The soul divides to evolve. It agrees to experience duality not as punishment, but as possibility. How can you know light if you've never walked through shadow? How can you know the beauty of unity without first learning to live as two? This is why every longing, every ache, every moment of searching exists. It is the soul's echo calling itself home. The twin flame journey mirrors the great story of creation itself. The divine splitting apart so that love might come to know itself through recognition. Dolores's work reminds us that even in our deepest sense of isolation, we are never truly alone. The connection remains, unseen but eternal, stretching across dimensions like a silver thread between hearts. The separation was never a mistake. It was a promise that one day, after lifetimes of learning, the two halves would find each other again, not to become whole, but to remember that they always were. And in that remembering, the universe breathes again. Once more. After the great separation, the two halves began their long journey through the spiral of time. Each descended into the density of matter, carrying within them the quiet memory of the other, like a song half remembered, echoing through lifetimes. Dolores Cannon described this longing as the call of the soul, an inner magnetism that draws twin flames toward one another across centuries and incarnations. Lifetime after lifetime, they wander. Sometimes they find each other. Sometimes they pass like stars in the night, close enough to feel the gravity, yet not close enough to touch. The universe orchestrates these encounters with precision, never too early, never too late. For the reunion of twin flames is not a matter of fate alone, it is a matter of readiness. Each incarnation serves a purpose. In one life, they may meet briefly to awaken a dormant memory. In another, they may share a love so fierce that it burns through karmic layers of fear and attachment. And sometimes, they do not meet at all, because their souls are still learning separately what they will one day embody together: unconditional love. Dolores taught that souls often choose to walk different paths for a time, gathering experiences, learning compassion, balance, forgiveness. Each carries lessons that, when finally reunited, merge into a greater wholeness. One may incarnate as the healer, the other as the wounded, one as the seeker, the other as the guide. Yet beneath all roles, their essence remains the same: two reflections of the same eternal flame. Across ages, they find fragments of each other in other faces. The pull remains, a vibration in the heart that whispers of something or someone missing. They may fall in love with others, but somewhere, in the deepest part of the soul, they know, this is not the one who mirrors me completely. Still, every connection serves its purpose. Every bond is a preparation for the moment when both flames are ready to meet again. When that meeting finally happens in this life or another, it feels less like discovery and more like remembering. Recognition floods the heart, often followed by confusion, even pain. Because the soul rejoices, but the ego resists. The energy of reunion is so powerful that it shakes everything unaligned within both. The journey through lifetimes is not a race to find the other half, but a pilgrimage toward inner completion. The soul understands that only when both have become whole individually can they unite in divine harmony. Dolores said that when twin flames meet in alignment, the universe itself rejoices. Their union radiates beyond personal love. It becomes service, healing, transformation. And so the journey continues through love, loss, and remembrance, until both flames burn not as two fires seeking each other, but as one light shining through two hearts. Because in the end, the search for the other was always the search for the divine within. There are moments in life that do not belong to time. Moments when the veil between worlds seems to dissolve, and two souls look at each other not as strangers, but as echoes finally meeting again. Dolores Cannon often described this as soul recognition, the instant when the memory of unity pierces through the illusion of separation. You do not meet your twin flame, you remember them. The eyes are the key. One glance, and something ancient awakens. It feels like electricity and peace at once, like standing before a mirror that reflects not your body, but your essence. You can't explain it. Words stumble, the mind protests, but the heart knows you are home. In that sacred instant, time folds, lifetimes collapse into one heartbeat. The faces you once wore, the places you once walked together, the promises made under stars long extinguished, all of it rises from the depths of memory. It is not imagination, it is remembrance. Your souls recognize the frequency of their own light. Dolores's regressions revealed that such recognition happens only when both souls reach a certain vibration. The meeting is divinely timed, never random, never premature. Each has walked through countless lessons, healed countless wounds, and when they finally see each other again, the energy between them acts as a catalyst. Everything unhealed begins to surface. Recognition is not only beauty, it is intensity. The love feels overwhelming because it is the reflection of your own divine essence staring back at you. It reveals all your strength, your fears, your shadows. You cannot hide from your twin flame because they mirror the parts of you that still long to be loved. This is why Dolores often said that meeting your twin flame is not a fairy tale, it's an awakening. The connection comes to break illusions, not to comfort the ego. The universe uses this encounter to accelerate your evolution, forcing both souls to face what still separates them from love itself. Yet, beneath the chaos, there is grace. The recognition itself is a miracle, a reminder that separation was never real. You have always been connected, and this meeting is simply the moment of remembering. It's the soul whispering, "I never left you. We have always been one." From that day forward, nothing feels the same. The world looks both brighter and heavier. The heart expands but aches. Because now, you carry awareness, the knowing that love is infinite, but that human life can only hold fragments of its vastness. The recognition is both a beginning and an awakening. It opens a door that cannot be closed again. You may walk different paths, but a thread of light will forever connect you, a living memory of the moment your souls looked at each other and said, "Finally, you found me again." When two flames finally meet, the light they create is too bright for the unprepared heart. It illuminates not only love, but everything that stands in the way of it. The recognition that once felt divine soon stirs deep currents of fear, attachment, and doubt. Dolores Cannon often said that the twin flame connection is not meant to bring comfort, it is meant to bring transformation. And transformation, by its nature, is not gentle. After the initial union comes the purification, the phase when the soul begins to burn away illusions. Every unhealed wound rises to the surface, old fears awaken, shadows that were once buried now demand to be seen. You find yourself asking why something that feels so sacred can also hurt so much. But the answer lies in the mirror itself. The other person is reflecting everything you still need to heal. It is during this stage that many twin flames experience separation. Sometimes it is physical, other times emotional or spiritual. It may come as silence, distance, misunderstanding, or even conflict. But behind it all is divine orchestration, a higher intelligence guiding both souls through their own refinement. The distance is not a punishment, it is the fire of purification doing its work. Dolores's regressions revealed that before incarnation, twin flames often agree to this phase. They understand that the intensity of their energy will surface all that is unhealed, forcing growth on both sides. One may play the role of the runner, needing space to process. The other becomes the chaser, learning surrender and trust. These roles are not opposites, but sacred reflections, two movements in the same divine dance. Pain becomes the teacher. It strips the soul of ego, expectation, and control. You begin to understand that love cannot be possessed, only experienced. You start to see that your longing for the other is, in truth, your longing for your own divine essence. And when you stop trying to hold on, you start to awaken. Purification is the alchemy of the soul. Through fire, gold is made. Through separation, awareness is born. Every tear, every silence, every unanswered question serves a higher purpose, the expansion of consciousness. The love that once seemed human begins to reveal its divine nature, unconditional, timeless, and free. In the midst of pain, Dolores would remind her students to look beyond appearances. "When your twin flame pulls away," she said, "it is not rejection, it is the universe asking, are you ready to love without fear?" Through this process, love ceases to be a feeling and becomes a frequency. You learn to love even in absence, to forgive without apology, to trust without proof. When the purification completes its work, you no longer love from need, but from knowing. The longing quiets, replaced by peace. Because you finally understand, the separation was never between you and them, it was between you and your own light. And now, the fire has done its work. What remains is the pure flame, steady, sacred, and awake. There comes a moment quiet, almost imperceptible, when the longing turns into peace, when the ache softens into understanding. After lifetimes of searching, separating, and healing, the two halves of the same soul begin to move toward each other again, not out of need, but out of resonance. Dolores Cannon often said that reunion between twin flames is not simply the meeting of two people, but the merging of two vibrations that have finally remembered their harmony. This reunion does not always happen in the way the human heart imagines. It is not always grand or dramatic. Sometimes it unfolds gently, like dawn, two souls finding alignment after storms of ego and illusion. What once burned with chaos now glows with calm recognition. They see each other again, not as saviors or possessions, but as mirrors, each whole within themselves, yet luminous together. The true reunion begins within. Before the outer reunion can occur, each soul must marry its own inner opposites, the divine masculine and feminine, the will and the surrender, the action and the stillness. This sacred inner union is what opens the path for the outer reflection to manifest. Without it, any reunion would crumble under the weight of human fear. Dolores's regressions revealed that once the soul learns unconditional love for itself, it naturally calls back its other half. No rituals, no searching, no striving, only alignment. When both vibrations reach the same frequency of peace, the universe orchestrates the meeting, effortlessly and perfectly timed. When twin flames reunite in truth, there is no more chasing or running. There is simply being. Their love no longer feeds on intensity. It breathes through serenity. Words become unnecessary because their energy speaks in silence. It is the moment the soul recognizes itself through another form. I am you, and you are me. Reunion does not erase individuality, it celebrates it. The two flames no longer try to merge completely, for they understand that unity does not mean sameness. Instead, they dance as one rhythm with two distinct notes, each adding its unique sound to the song of creation. Dolores taught that the purpose of reunion is not romance, but service. When twin flames unite in higher consciousness, their energy radiates outward, awakening others. Their love becomes a living prayer, an anchor of light on earth. Together, they embody divine balance, reminding the world what it means to love without condition. In that union, there is no past to heal and no future to fear. Only presence, only now, only the eternal flow of two energies that have finally remembered they were never apart. And in that stillness, the universe exhales. The one, once divided, has found itself again not by erasing difference, but by loving it completely. This is the reunion of the flames, not a story of finding another, but of remembering the wholeness that has always burned within. When two flames remember each other, whether they stand together or apart, something far greater than personal love is set in motion. Dolores Cannon often said that twin flames do not reunite for themselves alone. They reunite for the world. Their bond serves as a conduit for divine energy to flow into the collective, a living reminder of what love truly is. Not attachment, not desire, but pure consciousness expressing itself through human form. The purpose of the twin flame connection is to awaken divine love on earth. When two halves of the same soul recognize one another, their energy amplifies. It becomes a beacon that calls others to remembrance. People who encounter them feel it a sense of calm, expansion, or strange familiarity. It's not the people themselves who inspire this, but the frequency they emit, the vibration of unconditional love made visible. This is why many twin flames do not stay together in the traditional sense. Their mission extends beyond personal fulfillment. Some are meant to awaken each other and then move apart, carrying fragments of that light into different corners of the world. Others are meant to remain side by side, building something tangible, a life, a work, a message that embodies higher consciousness. But in every case, the purpose is the same: to serve love. Dolores taught that as souls evolve, their relationships shift from being about emotional need to divine purpose. Twin flames model this evolution, showing humanity that love is not possession, but expansion. They remind us that the truest connection exists, not in the grasp of hands, but in the meeting of souls that recognize the same divine fire within. Through them, Earth remembers. Their union, visible or unseen, helps raise the planet's vibration, inspiring others to seek inner harmony. Every act of forgiveness, every moment of compassion, every time they choose love over fear, a ripple moves through the collective. And in that ripple lies the hidden truth. The story of the twin flames is the story of us all. We are each sparks of the same eternal light, longing to awaken, to love, to remember. In the end, the purpose was never to find the other half, it was to realize that love itself is the bridge between heaven and earth. Through the flame, the universe learns to see itself radiant, whole, and forever one. If this message resonated with your heart, take a moment to breathe it in. Every soul that finds this channel becomes part of a greater circle, a space where love, awakening, and remembrance converge. So, if you felt something shift within you, let us know in the comments. Share your story, your signs, or simply the feeling this message brought to your soul. And if you wish to support this journey of light, you can do so through the Super Thanks option. It helps us continue sharing messages that awaken and heal. Thank you for being here, for feeling, for remembering. See you in our next video where another chapter of the soul's eternal story awaits.